live.
We're live. How you doing, Rash?
Oh my God, what a background do you have there? What's you back in Dubai or
Yeah.
Beirut or what's the background, dude?
No, Dubai. Back in Dubai. Just thought I'd give it a nice luxury feel. That's all.
Okay. I see there's a piano there. I guess you've been playing the piano too. Anyway, hey, welcome to the Change Room, Mindful Chats for the Game of Life. It's with your host, Rash and Sam. Sam's in Dubai. I'm currently in Melbourne, in between both cities. But this is where we have a weekly, call it podcast or discussions about the mind and neuroscience and a whole bunch of different things. And we've got an interesting topic this week. It is a pre-record because Sam is busy tomorrow. So, and we've tried a new time slot, so which is now 7 p.m. Just giving that a go and see how that goes for the meantime. Sam, talk to me about your week before we jump into our topic of the day.
For sure, man. I mean, it was a great week. So far, I was in Beirut. I had to deliver a training there on business is personal, meaning that we're talking about leadership and basically starting with yourself because everything is personal. You know, if you think about it, it's not like a divide. There's no divide between like you and what you do. You're the same person. So it was a wonderful training. And we're back here in hot, sunny Dubai. I think the temperatures here are reaching like 50 degrees, believe it or not. Crazy, man. Crazy. How's your week going, man?
Good. Busy week. Sometimes really busy. The couple of days I've had busy days, and then other days is a bit quiet. Today I had a good day. I recorded one part, the introduction part of my book. Is for those who don't know, I'll put it up there in a second for the record and off the record. So I'm doing an audio book of it, and I did one part of that today. So it's really interesting when you do a book and then you're reading out your own story, you know. So it's exciting times ahead. But no, in general, it's been good. Exercising, working away, keeping myself busy, and it's absolutely the opposite of you. It's been so cold here. So yeah, we've been, you know, there's been nights where it's got to, 2 degrees. So, nothing like your Canada, what you're used to in Canada, but it's pretty cold at the moment.
Still cold, eh?
Yeah. So let's talk about the topic. And I want to say, just if I may, before we get into the topic, we were planning on doing the hypnosis episode. We're going to give that a bit of a back seat now because we haven't gone on a live, and that's partly the reason. So we go. I don't know what happened then, but we're going with a different topic today, and it's for me. I think we discussed it yesterday. We were just talking about, and it spurred from what happened in the week in sports, right? So the topic is how a loss can become a win. Okay. I think it's a super interesting topic. I think that, and what I've told you off air was what happened last week in football. And I just want to start off with that, and then we can go into, breaking that down. Before I say that, I was going to say your topic for your business leadership thing, that could be a future topic for an episode. Love to hear that.
Cool.
So let me talk about what happened on the weekend. So we played a team, there's the Blues, and we kicked the first 6, 7, no more. We were up by 7 goals up until like in the first quarter, and we absolutely dominated them. The second quarter and the third quarter, they absolutely dominated us, and then they were up by 6 goals. It's a game of halves, right? But never seen the Blues get so dominated. You might say they had a couple of injuries and stuff the Blues had, but in general, and then the great thing about the Blues, as you know, is that the fighting spirit, right? They come back and they just lost by 2 goals. So they come back in the end, which showed a bit of, I think it's testament to the team and the leadership that They didn't give up. They just kept on going, right? However,
Yeah.
the point here, what I'm trying to make is that, and this is a classic example of how a loss can be a massive win. It's better that you have a loss like this now before the final game, right? This gives you clues of what went wrong. So when one player goes down and then the other one, so we had 3 injuries in the game. So we had a key forward, the ruck, which is the main guy in the center, and the defense, like the main defense guy. They all got a little bit injured. So they were not playing as like freely, right?
Right.
The point is what that whole thing is, and this is why I think it's a good premise of the whole topic and we're going to go to, is that once those, especially when the defender went back and he got a corky, this is when the tide swang completely the other way. So what does that mean, right? And just from an outsider view, and I know, what does that mean that when you get a loss now, how can that be a win? And then we can talk about it in general, how losses can turn to wins.
Right. Well, from what I'm hearing, I mean, I didn't see the actual play, to be honest with you. I mean, when you talk about like losses in general, I mean, let's take it from the top. Let's look at it from a macro perspective.
Yeah.
Being comfortable with rejection, loss is actually a superpower in the sense that it no longer scares you the same way, or it no longer makes you nervous in the same way. That's really the core discussion here. I think when people want to uphold or maintain a winning attitude for so long, you lose sight of that humility of what it means to lose and the value of what it means to lose. And I think really understanding, the process of loss in general, to be honest, I think you can apply it in many different contexts in life,
Not just
but
sports,
specifically
yeah.
with sports, it's crucial that it just shows how valuable, or how much you value the plays, how much you value winning when you're on a streak. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's a big difference between when people are scared of losing, you get nervous, and when you get nervous, you screw up, right? But for those of the people that have actually endured loss and rejection, they understand the value of it. Hence, they perform at a very, very high level. Like that's what makes them so great. They've lost so much in their life that they value the win in such a way where it becomes a strategy. Like I know how deep I need to go with this, where other people would not even try. And I think when you value loss in that sense or that perspective, that's going to give you a lot of superpower, a lot of, what I call jet fuel engine, because people are not willing to go that far. And it's really a value system. If you really think about it, it shouldn't be approached with just a lucky attitude. That's not enough, because it's non-sustainable. But
So
when
do you
you
think,
look,
go?
so
Okay.
when you think of, winning, it's a strategy. And to uphold that strategy requires you to really understand the value of losing. Like you don't want to go back
Yeah.
to losing, right? You don't want to go back to losing. It's nobody likes it, but it's the biggest teacher, if you will. It really is when
I mean, that happens in business too. It happens in business, doesn't it? I mean, in business,
for sure.
you can make a loss, and then when you're seeing, well, okay, there's the gaps, there's this. But I think the key point here is that now it's testament whether or not the players, and whether a player or the person or individuals or collective now, how they take it. Because it can go the opposite way. Because if you lose, you can lose confidence, etc. But if the foundation is strong, okay, then I think you're on for a upward trajectory. No one can ever win a game every game. You always get beaten somehow, some way. Something happens. It's life. Go ahead.
Actually, what I find is a telltale sign is when great teams lose one game, they're actually in a good mood. Like when they lose a
Really?
game in between, I'm not saying that they party and celebrate, obviously, but they're pretty okay with it. You know, I remember there's some teams on the going back to the hockey analogy, back in the day in the 80s, really, where there was a team called the Edmonton Oilers. They're still around, obviously, but they actually, because they kept winning so much, that when a loss would come in between, it was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, no problem. And I think that showed a lot of character, because they really understand the value in losing. Like, be friends with losing, be friends with rejection. It's going to make you a better player, a better person, because you value it more, right? So
No, I understand that. I mean, and probably fans don't understand that so much. That, you know, I think the key here is that how are you taking the loss? Now, if you're looking at it as a positive and you like a complete, like an audit system going, okay, this is where we lost. This is where we've lost, because what's happened in the situation with Carlton, for example, is that they've lost the same way to strong teams. And we had a winning run of 6 wins, right? But 6 weeks we it was of wins, but they've lost the same way. So I think that what you got to do is you've got to look at that, audit that, and create new strategy to become better.
Right.
That's it. But where I want to go off tangent and off the Blues is that for everything else, right? So let's talk about relationships as an example, right? So you might like someone, they like you, and or you could be married or couple or whatever it is, and it's never nice to be rejected, and it doesn't feel good. That's as much as you want to say, oh, it doesn't bother me. I think it could bother you. And then the question is, what have I gained out of this? Right? If you want to look at it in a negative way, and just like we talked about the team, say, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'll not meet another person. All that self-talk and doubt is going to be a long time before you probably meet another person. So the question is, I think there's a lot of gain out of everything that could be a loss can be a win, but it's the way. And here's the thing, right? I just want to be clear and maybe get your point on this, is that I don't want, what's the word, toxic positivity. It's, oh no, it's all good, life's good, blah blah blah. No, we got to have some realness into this. When you lose business, or you lose a potential spouse, or whatever it is, even a family member, and it could be death, right? So the word loss is much more deeper. So, and it's there's things that happen, but I'd be interested to see. I don't want us to come across as, oh, we're just talking, and it's life is good, and yeah, no worries, that loss is going to be good. No, I think the key part where I want you to come in is that application of what's required.
Well, I think, listen, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're operating that first as a team environment or a sports kind of platform perspective, if you're operating and competing at a high level, loss is even more important, because that's going to be the best teacher to tell you where you went wrong, what you need to fix, and what you need to do about it fast. Okay, that's competing at a high level. Okay, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. No, it's not about talking about this stuff and saying, or trying to make it look easy. It's not about that. It's a competing at a high level where you have tens of thousands of people depending on you, cheering for you, paying for their tickets, to support you. That's a serious position to be in, where you need to do a post-mortem after every game and say, what do I need to do where this didn't work out? What happened there? And when we're talking about the environment of the change room, right? You're talking with your coach. You're talking to your teammates. Where did you fall short? Like, you need to, like, it's not about waiting and then like just relying on luck all the time. You're competing at a high level. and people are paying money to see you. So this is a serious business where you owe it to yourself and your team, and of course your fans, to do a post-mortem on the plays that were not, played well, or you were in the wrong position at the wrong time, or, there should be more passing, a bit more kind of teamwork involved.
Or how did we deal with that player not being fully fit? That's a good example.
Exactly.
But I want to move on
Let
from
me just
sports.
finish this thought.
Yeah, go.
Let me just finish this thought, because your picture and your video quality is a bit kusa today. So when we're talking about like moving and communicating with team members at a high level, this is important shit. Like, it's not, of course it's a game, but it should be treated very, very seriously and very carefully, right? That's number one, because there's an investment being put in here, right? So assessing a loss, even in business, the great leaders don't think of it as a loss. It's like, listen, we didn't show up, and apparently something went off. Either people got too nervous too quickly, they said things that they shouldn't have said, or you could tell in their body language and their communication, it was quite weak and non-congruent. Okay, they weren't, showing up congruently. So loss is a wonderful teacher, and depending on the, your pay grade and what you're there to do, there's a lot required of you that you need to, tackle quickly, before the next time comes around. When you refer to loss as a loss of life of a loved one, of course, there's nothing you could do, right? Like, it is what it is. And I don't want to bring this in the context, because I think that's a special type of loss that requires certain grievance process. And shouldn't be taken lightly at all. It's just that I don't want to put it in the same basket as sports and stuff. Sports is like, you're not saving lives here. I think it's important. I think doing it with relationships is extremely important, probably more so than any sport. But when it comes to loss of life,
that's sure.
That's a different one.
Can I just say, here's a really good example. It's just come to me. I wish I had an example of it as a picture, but we're going off the cuff today. So, do you remember, those who might remember and that are watching, and thanks again for the comments and hello all. Do you remember the debacle that Johnson & Johnson had like about 25, 30 years ago? Do you know about that? So what happened was they had their medicines or whatever it was in the chemists tampered with. So they were tampered from the factory, okay? And people started dying, and then it was like you had to pull them back. They had to get all the product out of the shelves, etc. And it was a big, big, big thing. And they lost a lot of money. And I'm sure that staff were, it was a debacle, right? Out of that whole situation is what you see today. That when you open up the medicine, you hear that crack. It goes, and you got the plastic. So now you know if it's opened or not opened. So it took a really bad situation to create an invention to prevent that. So and I say that in the same as sport and everything else. Like, you might be in a relationship or sports or whatever it is, and then you suffer the loss, and frankly, it doesn't feel good. No one likes it. But then you look at that and say, okay, what am I going to learn out of that? What better systems can I get out of that? You know what I mean? So, so that's what I think anyway.
No, I think that's a wonderful example, Rash. When in a business context, like, they did something which was massive, although when you talk about medicines, that's even more scary and more, you have to be more vigilant. Because you're dealing and tampering with people's lives. That's a serious, kind of a thing. But with regards to a team environment, which is not equally as serious, but very serious in the sense that, like I said, people are paying money to see you. I think it becomes extremely important and responsible of you to go back and just, go back to your checklist and your board and say, where did we go wrong? Let's ask more questions. Let's find out, communicate more. What happened there? Like, somewhere, somehow, someone was not at the same play, or he didn't,
Yeah.
do something
Or
about it.
the energy,
Somewhere,
or
the
didn't know
energy
what
was
to
shit.
do. The anxiety kicked in. The same as a
You know what
relationship.
used to, you know what people
Yeah.
used to do in the team? There are some teams in volleyball as well. They, obviously we're all human beings. We all have shit that we carry that affects our mood, our play, etc. What they used
Yeah.
to do before a game is they used to ask each other, "How are you feeling?" Like personally, right? And everyone had to be truthful about it, and everyone said their piece, all the team members, and then everyone kind of like held hands in a circle just to kind of like spend like a moment of silence, or just saying a short, very small prayer, that
It's a
you get to
reflection.
perform. Yeah, you get to perform at a top level. Just for now, we see you, we recognize you in terms of like whatever you're going through, um, and then we pray that everything goes well. And then now we need to shift gears mentally and prepare for the upcoming game. And the result was astounding. It's like these are the same people that lead personal lives, that have personal shit, that were playing at a top level. Like you wouldn't say that this guy's just like broke up with his wife, or that guy just lost
Lost $1 million.
yeah. So it's amazing. It's the moment people recognize what people are going through, or they feel heard. And when you feel heard before starting a game, there's something about that period what makes it more livable, or makes it more tolerable. So it would allow you to focus on the game because
Yeah,
you're
it makes
meant to
it more
produce.
positive. Yeah. And but you can be hurt before the game, and it can go affect you negatively. The question is how to make that positive. And I get that in
But
sports. I
that's
get it in
but that's the whole
relationships.
idea. But that's the whole idea, Rush. So you just said it perfectly well. It's how do I make a negative into a positive? How can I change that? There's a way to do that. You can
Do you think?
reframe this.
Do you think there's a negative? Do you think there's a positive for every negative situation? I know it's a big
Yes.
call.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes. 100%. 100%. And I don't
So
say,
we
listen,
look
I
at
I don't want to
real
come
life
across,
progress.
bro, I don't want to come across as being cocky, as like, oh, this guy thinks he's got the secret, to code to friggin', having the best life possible. It's not about that. It's about looking at life in general. If you're not evolving in
Mm.
some way, shape, or form, you're regressing. If you're regressing, you're going to lead
Yeah.
the shitty life. You're going to lose more
So
often,
you're either
and then the
growing,
loss
you're
is not
either
going to
growing
teach
or
you anything.
dying. So either growing or dying, basically. Is that
Yeah,
it?
I mean, there's no other way. You have to learn from something. I'm not saying I'm not empathetic. I understand. We all go through shit. I'm going through shit, but I've
Really?
got I've got a choice. I've got an option. Yeah, of course, Mitch. Come on, man. Like we all go
I
through
know.
the little
All of us.
little
All of us.
things in life, and I think you know having the idea that I have an option, that's number one. I can potentially change this. Now, it may take me a day, 2 days, maybe a week or two. I'll take all the time I need, but I have to change it. I have to change it because I know the alternative is shitty, and I don't want that.
Yeah, but sometimes
Your picture, by the
the
way, bro, your video is not that great, eh? It's cool stuff, big time. Just putting it out there, okay?
for those who don't know what kusa means, it means
Zucchini.
zucchini. Huh?
Ah, gotta change my.
Hold on.
Do you think it's because I put a new background on?
Yeah, maybe. Let's blame
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's still picture. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Blame
Hey,
blame
so
me. Yeah,
I
sure.
just lost my train of thought. But what I was trying to say is that the unconscious mind goes into this program. We will talk about it every single week, right? So let's say an
Right.
example like a relationship, right? You might be unconsciously going through this relationship, not knowing, and you're doing things, but there's some changes that you need to do individually as a person, but you haven't made that. And then your partner or your spouse highlights that for you. And let's say you leave each other, or or you have a a break, that's enough to jolt you to go, like that loss that we had last week, to go, maybe there's some truth into that. Maybe the way I'm running at the moment is not correct. Maybe I'm thinking I'm a high flyer and I've got it all sorted, but I don't. Maybe there's a lot of work that I need to do to become a better person. And that's what I want to get out of it. And that goes into relationships, that goes into sports, and that goes into business. The whole lot. It carries across. It's the same message goes across, that how do we become better and what do we do with that information to create that? And unless it hurts sometimes, because most people work from a place of, you need to be jolted at times. Not everyone, but when you get that rejection, or you give that rejection, or you lose that money, or you lose the game, or whatever it is, and it doesn't feel good, guess what? You have a decision, and it'll prompt you to make that decision much more quicker. So that's my 10 cents worth.
For sure, for sure. Listen, I also want to stick on the sports part of things. I was actually playing. I'm just reminded about this story. I was playing with some. I don't know what you would call them back in Canada. It was like a semi-professional football team or soccer team. Okay, and I was playing because I had a cousin who played on that level, and I thought I could, hold my own, as they say. And when I got onto the pitch with these guys, oh my God. Like within the first 5 minutes, Rich, I felt like this is not like this. They're on a different level completely. Like they annihilated me. They were racing past me. Like I thought I was fast. I thought I was, pretty nifty dribbling. I was shit compared to these guys. And I knew that in the first like 3 to 5 minutes. It was crazy. I had to like wave up my cousin and say, dude, I'm walking off. Like, this is crazy. This is insane. You guys are obviously or apparently amazing, but I had to walk off. I felt so bad that I had to have a chat with my cousin after that game. And I said, you guys, that's unbelievable. Like the plays that you guys, the speed that you guys have, that's unreal. He looked at me and he said, listen, do you want to continue playing football or soccer? And I said, I don't know, because clearly I need to up my game big time if I were to pursue this. Anyways, I walked away from the sport, obviously, but it just goes to show that going back to what you said, when you think you're really good, and it's like, hey, come on, and then I saw it firsthand, experienced. I said, forget it. This is not my show at all.
I think the key word that I got out of that, and what I was trying to say the last 5 minutes, is upping your game, because you might be unconsciously thinking that, and that happens in business. So I might be in my business the king of Melbourne, right? It's my business, it's my neighborhood, I'm the king. Put me into Dubai or put me into another city that's got different challenges and everything out. Then the question is, and with a high level, at the top level, the world's best,
right?
Then you have to up your game. And that's the same with relationships. You might be thinking, oh, yeah, I've got it going on. It's fine. I've got things sorted, stability and a whole bunch of different things. And then your partner might go, well, I want this. And then you go, well, so.
Yeah, but also there's also something else, Rash. There's also something else to be said. Remember, we started the episode talking about the sports team. So that's the context. There's a team called Carlton, and they're obviously playing against some pretty high level teams as well. That's the context. Ask yourself, these fans are coming to spend money to see you. That should be enough of inspiration or motivation for you to get your shit together. Like, because I went. Sorry, I'm just remembering stories as I go, but I remember playing volleyball. I was pretty good at volleyball, to be honest.
Yeah.
When we went into the amateur level representing our province of Ontario in all of Canada. And I remember the coach also looking at me and saying, when are you going to switch it on? I said, what are you talking about? He said, when are you going to fucking play good? And I'm like, oh, shit. That
Sorry,
was like
kids. If someone
Yeah.
swears, Sam's, yeah. But
Well, it means I've got your attention for the next 18 to 20 minutes, research says. So, and if you're gonna play on a top level, ask yourself, these people are paying money to see you. Stop fucking around. Like, come on, you've got
but
to
Sam,
perform.
no, but Sam, there's only one winner, dude. And if there's 18 or 20 others, everyone's going for the same thing. So in the end, they're always going to be a loser. There has to be a winner.
We're not, bro, and that's fine, but at least make your ratio like 5-1, man. Like
Yeah,
5-1, 6-1. Like fix your ratio. Like I'm not saying that you have to win every single game, but clearly when you're losing in a specific way on certain plays or strategies that you're just not getting right, then something has to be talked about here. Like what can we do here? What's going wrong there or here?
I
And
get
and look, I don't want to come across as like obviously those commentator warriors that it's easy for me to talk and stuff. I know it's a very challenging game, but at that level, you gotta look into the details because someone was off, or maybe two people or three people were off, and those are notable positions. Those are the playmakers, and I just say if you want to up your ratio, like you said earlier, you got to up your level of preparation, communicate better with the team, and at least going to give you a better chance at winning. Because again, you're competing at a high level. You're competing at a high level. Same thing with business. If you're playing and doing business with the big boys, listen, they've got strategies for this shit. They've got strategies and a shit ton of experience as well. So.
All right, Sam. Well, I'm just looking at the time. I think we're going to start wrapping up. Are you okay to wrap up?
Yeah, we're good. I just, I think we just wanted to get it off our chest, talking about like loss and stuff. It's a wonderful topic. We could talk more about this, but as they say, I mean, we want to keep it like on the surface. And for now, to see some of the feedback from people that watch the show, we look at all the comments to see whether we do another round 2 of this, or do we, maybe talk about business as personal next week, because we also want to touch on hypnosis, getting deeper into hypnosis, the phenomena of how that can change people's plays and thinking styles, and
100%.
100%.
Look, I'm going to put our socials on there, so you can find us at. These are our social handles on Instagram. Obviously, we're also on LinkedIn and Facebook and etc. But this is probably the best way you can DM us. We did mention, was it last week or the week before, that we're open to get someone online, and maybe we can do either hypnosis or take on a topic like someone might have. What's the problem? And it's not a show takeover, but it'd be like a 5-minute, get you up, ask you a question, and then we like to go off the fly, so we'll try and tackle it to the best of our ability. Again, we're not doctors, so what's the thing we say when Sam, help me out, man?
We're not doctors. We're coaches, and we work. We work very different.
Disclaimer.
The disclaimer is, we want to share value with people that they could use. Simple techniques, relaxation, connecting with that part of you that makes a lot of key decisions. Because people, we've got this down to a science. Like there's just so much research on the topic of mental performance, well-being, that you don't want to miss.
Very good. And I think Lana said, and she's in the chat, she said that she wanted to jump on. If anyone else wants to jump on, what we're suggesting is contact us again personally. Lana, I'm in direct contact with anyway. But anyone that wants to jump on the show in the future, send us a message. Tell us what the problem is. We can maybe have a quick call with you prior, and then we can assess whether or not come on the show and whether we can tackle it and give you the best advice that we can give, and also for other listeners that will be watching us and hearing us. So that's pretty much it, my friend. Let's just talk. Yeah, go. Sorry.
No, I
You
think
were
that's
saying?
awesome. I think it was a nice wrap up where we talked about the subject, and I love the way you presupposed that Lana was also watching this, which she probably would be.
She's there.
And then we'll
She's
say a
great.
big hello to everyone. We're going to be coming at you live next week, hopefully. That's for sure, because we love the live interaction and people watching. And as always, we hope you take a lot of value away from this. We'd love to talk about this kind of stuff, dissect things. We're going to share some more hypnosis stuff with you. So look out, because we're coming. We're coming.
Just one thing, if I could promote, if you don't mind, I'm just going to put a picture up of my book for those that don't know. This is the book there, for the record and off the record. So leadership lessons from the music world, featuring 40 hit lessons from Melbourne to Dubai. I'm looking at releasing this. Wait for it. I'm going to tell you when. So I've decided with the publisher. Just want to let you know. So I'm going to release it on my daughter's birthday.
Nice.
So,
When's that? When is it?
August 20th.
Ooh, looking forward. Off the record,
Yeah,
for the record.
I'm pretty excited about that. Really looking forward to it. I think
That's
it's going to
awesome.
be a nice gift for her. Hopefully, I'll get a physical copy by then. So that's why I've been rushing to do things.
That's
I
amazing,
think
man.
I think that's it, Sam. You know, if those who haven't noticed, I've taken controls today. That's why you're probably seeing it a lot more smoother than Sam, because he's got, you know, his
Yeah, true.
background and yeah.
Yeah, so Rash has got the controls today, which is amazing. You can tell he's working, you know, his charm. Of course, his video and sound quality are not the best as normal, but it's okay. We're gonna edit that out, shall we?
And the other thing is, hopefully next week we'll be live, because we're trying this 7 o'clock thing. So I think that we're going to try on this 7 o'clock thing, but depending on your availability, Sam. So that might be pre-recorded if you cannot
Looking
make it
forward
at
to it.
7. Yeah.
No, hopefully
Okay.
it'll work. Hopefully it'll work. Awesome, man. It was lovely chatting with everybody, and see you next week.
One more thing just before we go. Special thanks to the Jumper Punch channel that has us on every single week. We appreciate them a lot. So Mars, Paolo, Rocco, thank you very much. Don't forget to watch the other shows. Sundays, you got Blue Sunday. Tuesday, you got the Grand Show, the Jumper Punch. Wednesdays, the Burbs. Thursdays is us. So that's pretty much it. So till next time, what do we say?
Adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos. Go Blues.
Go Blues.